What is going on, you guys? And welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you my top 5 fights of the year 2023 for the UFC. But before I get into it, I understand there's only 5 fights, guys. So if you guys get upset that one of the fights that you guys love, that's your number one, didn't make it on the list, let me know in the comment section below. What is your fight of the year? Give me your top 5 in the comment section below. But let's go ahead and get right into it, okay? At number 5, Dan Hooker versus Jalen Turner. What a war this was. This was an amazing fight. I believe this was on UFC 290 if I'm not mistaken. And this was a hell of a fight. A 3-round war between two guys where I thought that Jalen Turner was going to dominate. And I thought he was going to get a knockout early on, maybe in the second round. But this turned into a back and forth war. And Dan Hooker, with his resilience, was able to somehow get a victory. He suffered a big time head kick early on in this fight as well, and just ate it. Like, didn't even get knocked down or nothing. He ate it like it was nothing. Absolutely unbelievable stuff by Dan Hooker, man. The resilience, especially later on in his career, has been absolutely insane. Well, we all really doubted him. I doubted him. I thought Jalen Turner was going to get the victory, and he was able to somehow get the win over Jalen Turner. Absolutely unbelievable. And I do believe that Dan Hooker won this fight. I think it was, I gave it 29-28, I believe, to Dan Hooker. Very good fight overall. And to me, it's my number 5. It doesn't really hold that much just because there's not a whole lot of significance coming into this fight, in my honest opinion. But listen, maybe if you would have lost, if Dan Hooker would have lost, maybe that was the last time we see him, Dan Hooker. But I don't know. Who knows? Dan Hooker is a warrior, and he's a hell of a fighter. But shout out to Jalen Turner, too, because he had a really good performance as well. I felt like he was a little lackluster because, in my opinion, I thought that he definitely should have won this fight. But still, nonetheless, a fantastic fight all the way through. At number 4, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal. This fight was fucking crazy because it's kind of like a similar situation with the last fight at number 5 between Dan and Jalen, where we thought that Shavkat was just absolutely going to destroy Jeff Neal. But Jeff Neal goes in there and has great moments. I believe at one point in time he, rocks Shavkat Rakhmonov. And he has some amazing moments during this fight where it was competitive back and forth. And at the end, the closing finish for Shavkat to keep his finish streak alive, to submit Jeff Neal on the cage by a rear naked choke, was absolutely unreal. And him to walk off like that, what a fucking cold-blooded moment by Shavkat, dude. He's fucking killer. But Jeff Neal deserves a lot of credit because he looked great on the feet against a guy like Shavkat, where I just thought that Shavkat was just going to dominate this fight. But Jeff Neal goes in there and puts on a fucking great performance. That's why I'm not entirely sure about Ian Gary, how he's going to perform against Jeff Neal, because Jeff Neal has heavy hands, and I know that Ian Gary's a little chinny. You know what I mean? Getting knocked down by Sean Kanan ain't great. That's why Jeff Neal, I believe in Jeff Neal to possibly get the job done and beat Ian Gary because of this fight. This was a fantastic performance by him. And, yeah, one of the best fights of the year. And what a finish by Shavkat to be able to get the submission to keep his streak. I mean, he was going to win the fight, but then he gets the finish. Like, I think it was like a minute left in the fight, and he submits him. Absolutely unreal. An amazing fight overall. And I was like, damn. After watching this shit, I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? Shavkat is the real fucking deal. But anyway, at number 3 is Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Now, I think 4 and 3 you can interchange, to be quite honest with you. But this fight was a war as well. Justin Gaethje just got better round by round. The first round, I thought Fiziev did fantastic with the kicks and stuff like that. I thought he did a great job to kind of not let Justin get off at any point. But then he started getting a little gassed, and that's when Justin Gaethje really turned this fight around completely. And in that third round, what a brutal beatdown that Justin Gaethje put on Rafael Fiziev. And a lot of people do believe that it was that this fight was a fucking, like, a lot of people thought that Rafael Fiziev won this fight. I think it was a really close fight that Fiziev got robbed. That's what I was trying to say. And I don't know. I mean, it was a really close fight. I really do believe that, both guys definitely, like, if you said that Fiziev won, I don't mind that. If you thought Justin Gaethje won, I don't mind that. It felt like to me, though, after the fight that Justin Gaethje was the winner. You know what I mean? Because he just put on a beating on Fiziev in that third round. I mean, he was hitting him with uppercuts, and Fiziev was just fucking gushing out blood. It was an unreal fight. I mean, listen, any Justin Gaethje fight is entertaining. It doesn't matter what it is. Justin Gaethje always puts on an amazing performance. Like, he always puts on an entertaining fight. It doesn't matter who it's against. Name me a fight where it was boring that included Justin Gaethje. You can name me one. All of his fights are entertaining. However long they last, if it's 1 round, if it's 3 rounds, if it goes all the way to the 5th and final round, it is always entertaining. Shout out to Justin Gaethje. Man, he had a great year in 2023, 2-0 in 2023. And let's see what happens between him and Islam Makhachev, even though I do believe he will lose. But this fight was great. And he got himself back on the right track with this victory. And it was amazing, amazing fight overall. At number 2 is Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Moreno 2. I believe they fought 3 times, but I think it was in the Ultimate Fighter. And I guess they don't really count that fight as in their record. But this was a fantastic fight. Fucking back and forth war. I have this fight a little higher than Fiziev and Justin due to the fact that it was super razor thin close, and you could have gave it to Moreno in my opinion as well. I do give it to Pantoja. I think Pantoja, the way he was able to grapple against Moreno was fantastic. I thought this was I think Pantoja looked better in this fight than he did in his last fight against Brandon Royval, in my honest opinion. This was a fantastic fight. I mean, Brandon Moreno looked sharp on the feet. And there was moments where I'm like, damn, he could really finish him, but he wasn't able to because Pantoja's chin is fucking insane. Pantoja has a granite chin. I mean, it's obvious, especially from this past pay-per-view. I mean, he showed that he had a granite chin against Brandon Royval because Brandon Royval was hitting with all kinds of shit, and he still wasn't going down. Still wasn't really rocked like that. And that was the same thing. I think he was rocked a little bit against Moreno, but still. Great moments from Moreno, great moments from Pantoja. And Pantoja did great on the feet as well. Like, he had some great moments against Moreno on the feet. But, I thought Moreno looked better on the feet, in my opinion. And when he did, I mean, he was landing flush on a lot of shots, and it was a fantastic thing to watch. Very razor-thin, close fight. And I think that Pantoja, I believe he did win. I think he did win, but still an amazing moment, an amazing fight. I think to me, that this is the second best fight in flyweight history, in my opinion. Probably. If I had to really think about it, I think this is probably the second, and it has to include Brandon Moreno, obviously. Because, obviously, to me, my number 1 is Figueiredo Moreno 1. That, to me, is the best fight in flyweight history by far. Like, and that's not even close. I think Figueiredo 1 is better than this one by, like, 2 times. But still, like I said, great fight, though, nonetheless. And an amazing moment for Pantoja. And let's see if Moreno's able to get the victory and fight Pantoja again. Let's see. We'll see what happens in February. But number 1 should be obvious to everybody. The most significant fight of the year, and to me, the best fight of the year with the best moments. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski 1 is the fight of the year for me. By far. I was super hyped going into this fight because this had like an actual big fight feel. 2 guys in their fighting prime, in my opinion. Going, number 1 versus number 2, I believe. Going up against each other. How many times do you see that in MMA, in the UFC? You rarely see that. The number 1 guy going up against the number 2 guy. What, Cormier and Jones maybe, I guess? Right? But no, I mean, this was an amazing, just big fight feel, and it lived up to it exceeded expectations. With the moment in the round 4 where, Islam took Volk's back, but Volk was just punching him like backwards. That was an amazing moment. Then, and early in the rounds where Islam Makhachev was getting the upper hand in the striking department, he was rocking Alexander Volkanovski, but the resilience of Volkanovski was able to find a way to have moments on the feet as well. But then, the final round is probably my favorite round of the entire year by far. The final round where Alexander Volkanovski was able to have that moment in the fight where he knocked down Islam Makhachev, and it felt like he was the winner, but I know deep down I was like, damn, they're not going to give it to him. Even though it felt like at the end of the fight, it felt like Volk was going to be the double champion. He was going to solidify his legacy, but I was like, damn, well, I think that he didn't win as many rounds as Islam. I think Islam won at least 3, maybe 4, 4 rounds. But it's the great, listen, if you thought it was a 49-46, it's the greatest 49-46 fight of all time. I don't give a shit what anybody fucking says. I think I have to rewatch that fight. I haven't seen that fight in quite some time. I've only seen it twice. But I got to go back and I got to see. I mean, listen, one of the greatest fights. To me, not just like the fight of the year, but one of the greatest fights of all time. Because you rarely see, like I said, number 1 versus number 2 pound for pound. And going up for double champ status when it's warranted. Right? Alexander Volkanovski deserved that opportunity to become a double champ. And he flourished in his attempts. But obviously, Islam walked out the victor. But still, Volk, to me, felt like a winner after that fight. And I wish, looking back at it, I wish he would have took that fight again against Islam the second time. I wish I could go back and I'd be like, damn, like, maybe let me change Volk's fucking mind around and, like, have him wait to be prepared for a guy. Because you can't go on short notice and fight a guy like Islam Makhachev. Unless, like, you're, like, number 14 in the ranks. You know what I mean? Because you're never going to get a title shot ever again in your life. Or probably ever in your... I mean, unless, like, you're really good. I don't know. But anyway. An amazing fight. Amazing moments. Islam had a fantastic performance, especially on the feet. He surprised me, especially going up against a guy like Alexander Volkanovski, who I believe at the time was the best striker in the UFC. And he kind of shut that shit off. Islam Makhachev shut that shit down. I mean, listen, he did get dropped in that final round, but in the beginning, like the first 3 rounds, Islam had great moments where he rocked Alexander Volkanovski. That was an amazing performance by Islam. And you got to give him Islam a lot of credit. Because he went in there and put on a hell of a performance and came out victorious and arguably won 4 rounds against Alexander Volkanovski, and then he knocks him out in the next fight. I try to erase that from my brain, but anyway, an amazing fight, and yeah, that is my fight of the year. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you like MMA content and UFC content, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Peace out.